mic. Mic, check, mic, check. For 9 Civil Works project.
For this program, pre-bid conference for 10 civil works projects, namely for contract ID 25MH0069, number 2, 25MH0074, number 3, contract ID 25MH0079, 4, 25MH0082, 5, contract ID 250084, 8, 6, 25MH0086, 7, 25MH0092, 8, 25MH0096, and for 9, 25MH0102, and lastly for 25MH0114 to be discussed later. So, Secretariat, can we determine the attendance for the determination of the quorum?
Yes, sir. So for today's activity, pre-bid conference for 10 Civil Works project, for our back members, attendance, we have our presiding officer, our back chairperson, the chief of the planning design section, Engineer Abderrahman Patuan, our back vice chairperson, the chief of the construction section, Engineer Pinkies Duruin, our back regular member, the chief of the administrative section, Sir Gerald Balino, our back provisional member, the chief of the quality assurance section, Engineer Hasrin de Alanca, our end user representative, our back provisional member, end user representative for civil works, Engineer Jahaira Magarang. For our back technical working group, headed by the head of the back technical working group, Engineer Rafi Di Kemama, we have members of the back technical working group, Engineer Everq Paklibar, and Engineer Jade Cordero. For our back secretariat, headed by the head of the procurement staff, also the head of the back secretariat, Engineer Anthony Pidimen. Members of the back secretariat, yours truly, Franco Ribarcel Rizo and Sir Alan Efreno. For our observers, we had invited observers, but so far, wala pa pong dumarating na observers. And we have our member or the representative from our Planning and Design section, Engineer Sara Makasinding.
For being present of the back member 6 out of 6. The chair therefore declared this committee meeting in quorum. So welcome for today's Sultan Kudarat second DEO pre-bid conference on 10 civil works projects. Let us proceed with the requirements of the bidding documents as, to be presented by Engineer Sara Jane Makasindi.
To our back chairman, Sir Abdul Rudin Ampatuan, to our back members, secretariat, staff, TWG, and our viewers, good morning. In behalf of planning section, I'm Sarah Jane P. Makasindig, and I will be discussing to you the 10 MPV projects. First, we have here the 25 MH0069 with a contract name construction completion of multi-purpose building, Barangay Christianuevo, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat, with an ABC of 2,475,000 and with duration of 90 calendar days. This project is intended for the SK building of Barangay Christianuevo, a one-story building. As you can see, this is the perspective of our building and its location map. Next, we have here the floor plan, elevations, the front, rear, left, and right. We have also have here the longitudinal section in the cross section through X and Y. Next, we have the roof plan, the detail of our toilet and bowl, the doors and window schedules. Next, we have here the general construction notes for our guidelines during our construction. Next, we have the foundation plan, the detail of our footing to column, wall footing details, beam schedules, roof beam plan, as well as the roof framing plan. Next, we have here the detail of or typical detail of our roof beam, the connections of the roof and column, beam and column, the typical section of beams, detail of concrete setting, detail of splice, canopy, and detail of our stair on fill. Next, we have the detail for our rafter, for our roofing, the typical detail of our slabs, here with its reinforcing steel bar schedules. Next, we have here the detail for our concrete letter signage here. And it should be anchored to the wall of the building or structures. Next, we have here for plumbing, we have here the water line layout, sanitary line layout, and waste line layout with its isometric view. Next, we have here the detail of our septic bolt and the proper connections of our pipings together with its specification and legends. Next, we have here for our electrical, the power and the lighting layout plan, the panel board diagram, electrical riser and load schedules. Next, we have here the detail of our fire extinguishers, the typical detail of our panel board for references, and the detail or typical detail for our lights and outlets. Next, we have here the geohazard map. And lastly, we have here the standard project billboard. The second project is 25 AMA 0074, construction completion of multipurpose building, Barangay Nuling, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat, amounting to or with an ABC of 2,970,000 with a duration of 90 calendar days. This project is intended for the senior citizen, but the structure is the same with the structure of Barangay Christianuevo, which I discussed earlier. The difference is the contract amount, and this project includes the painting of the ceiling. Here, it is the same detail as I discussed earlier. For the summary of quantities for this project, we have here the provision of field office for engineers, 3 months, permits and clearances, 1 lump sum, project billboard / signboard, 1 each, occupational safety and health, 1 lump sum, mobilization, demobilization, 1 lump sum, structure excavation, common soil, 33.48 cubic meter, embankment from roadways / structure excavation, common soil, 20.99 cubic, embankment from barrow, common soil, 35.16, gravel field, 17.65 cubic, structural concrete, 21.72 cubic meter and 10.79 cubic meter. Reinforcing steel deform bars, grade 40, 2,554.42 kilogram. Forms and falls works, 140.11 square meter. CHB non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 100 mm3, 230.40 square meter. Carpentry and joinery works, 1 lump sum. Finishing hardware, 1 lump sum. Aluminum frame glass door swing type, 10.29 square meter. Sliding type, 12.48 square meter. Owning type, 0.72 square meter. And for fixed type, we have 18.87 square meter. We have also here glass door flush, 3.36 square meter. For ceiling, 173.83 square meter. Waterproofing cement base, 6.63 square meter. Glazed tiles and frames, 13.42 square meter. Unglazed tiles for our comfort rooms, 5.44 square meter. Cement plaster finished for 333.11 square meter. For painting works, masonry / concrete, 173.83 square meter. For wood, 4.15 square meter. For steel, 133.87 square meter. For fabricated metal roofing accessories, flushing, 68.15 linear meter. For gutters, 23.84 linear meter. And for pre-painted metal sheets, roof type long span roofing, 27.0 square meter. For structural steel, 1 lump sum. For trusses, 530.77 kilogram. For structural steel purlins, 580.70 kilogram. For metal structure accessories, bolts and rods, 78 each. Steel plates, 73.01 kilogram. And for fire extinguisher, 2 sets. Catch basins, 2 sets. We have also here for plumbing and electrical catch basins, sewer lines, storm and drainage and downspout, septic bolt, plumbing fixture, cold water lines, conduits, boxes and fittings, wires and wiring devices, panel boards with main and branch breakers, and lastly, lighting fixtures. Next, we have here the detail of our standard project billboards. Okay, for our next project, 25 MH 0079, construction completion of multi-purpose building, Barangay Puloy-Puloy, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat, with an ABC of 2,970,000 with a duration of 90 calendar days. This project is intended for the new barangay hall of the Barangay Puloy-Puloy, but it is just phase 1 or for the ground floor only. This is the perspective of our building, the location maps. Next, we have here for the detail of our ground floor plan here. And the second floor plan. It is, please take note that we have notes in our plans. For example, we have here provide dowels or reinforcing steel bars on all columns, HB wall, and at least 1 meter in preparation for the completion of the building. And please refer for the second floor plan for the preparation of the dowels here. Next, we have here the elevation, the front, right, rear, left side, cross-section, and longitudinal section view of our building here. Next, we have here the schedule of doors and windows, the ground floor reflected ceiling plan with its typical ceiling joist detail and the ramp. And we have also here the ramp detail. Next, we have the foundation plan and the second floor framing plan or the beam layout. And we have also here the detail of our footing to column, wall footing, and detail of our stair on fill, FTB, and schedule of our column. Next, we have here the detail for our typical detail for our slab with its reinforcing steel bars in its schedules, typical detail of our beam, typical detail of our column, and schedule of our beam. Next, we have here the detail of our stairs. Next, we have the construction general notes as our guidelines. Next, we have here the water line, sanitary, and storm and drainage layout plan for our ground floor. And we have also here the second floor, which we need to provide a pipe for the completion of our building for the second floor plumbing layout. Next, we have here its isometric view and the detail of our septic bolts and together with its detail or connection of our pipings. Next, we have here the for electrical, the ground floor power layout and lighting layout plan. And we have also here these for second floor, which we need to provide UPVC pipe for second floor in completion, for the completion of the electrical works for the second floor, future expansion or future completion of the building. Next, we have here the schedule of loads and its riser diagram, and the typical detail of panel boards and the outlet and lightings. We have also here the layout plan for our fire extinguisher in its detail and schedules. Next, for the summary of quantities, we have here the provision of field office, permits and clearances, project billboard and signboard, occupational safety and health, mobilization and demobilization, structure excavation, common soil, embankment from roadway / structure excavation, embankment from barrow, gravel fill, structural concrete for our and reinforcing steel bars, grade 40 and grade 60, formworks and falseworks, CHB, non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 150 mm, carpentry and joinery works, finishing hardwares, aluminum frame glass doors, wing type, and aluminum glass windows, sliding type and fixed type, door flush, ceiling, waterproofing, cement base, glaze tiles and trims, and glaze tile, cement plaster finish, painting works for masonry / concrete, structural steel, fire extinguishers, sewer lines, septic bolt, plumbing fixture, cold water lines, conduits, boxes and fittings, wires and wiring devices, panel board with main and branch breakers and lighting fixtures. Next, we have here the geohazard map of the municipality of Lebak. And lastly, we have here the standard project billboards. Next, we have here the with a project structure, amounting to 4,950,000 and with a duration of 120 calendar days each. This project is our 25 MH0082, 25 MH0084, and 25 MH0096. This project is intended for the barangay, two-story barangay hall. Wait. 22, 84, 96. Yeah. This is the perspective of our new barangay hall. Here, it is a two-story building. This three project has the same structure, but the scope of work has a different summary of quantities. Here, this is the elevation, the front, rear, the front and right elevation, the ground floor plan, and our second floor plan here. Next, we have the rear elevation, left side, the cross-section and longitudinal sections. And we have also here the schedule of doors and windows. Next, we have the reflected ceiling plan for ground floor and second floor here. And the detail of the canopy and the cove light detail for our ceiling at the second floor. Next, we have here the roof plan. Here, the ramp details and the details on the connection of our roofing, the railing details, and the ceiling joist detail. Next, we have here the detail of our concrete ladder signage here, which is anchored to the walls using the 10 mm reinforcing steel bars. Next, we have here the foundation plan here, The second floor framing, the detail of the FTP wall footing, column, the detail of F1C1, and the detail of our steer-on fill. Next, we have here the detail of, or the typical detail of our slab in its schedules, the typical detail of beams and columns, and schedule of the beams. Next, we have here the roof framing plan with the rafter detail and the detail of splice of our purlins and angle bars, and the detail of our gutters and flashings. Next, we have here the detail for our stairs, the general construction notes, and we have here the water line, sanitary, and drainage layout plan of the ground floor and second floor. And we have also have here the isometric views and the detail of the septic bolt and its piping connections. Next, for our electrical, we have here the power layout and the lighting layout plan for the ground floor and second floor, the load schedules, riser diagrams, the typical detail of panel boards and outlets and lights. Next, we have here the detail of the layout for our fire extinguisher for ground floor and second floor with its fire extinguisher detail and schedules. Next, for the summary of quantities for the 25 PMH 0082 construction of multi-purpose building Barangay Salansang, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat. We have here the provision of field office, 4 months, permits and clearances, 1 lump sum, which includes the building permits and occupancy, project billboard signboards, 1 each, occupational safety and health, 1 lump sum, mobilization, 1 lump sum, structure excavation common soil, 79.44 cubic meter, embankment from roadway structure excavation, 53.45 cubic meter, embankment from barrow from common soil, 20.21 cubic meter, gravel field, 19.09 cubic meter, and for structural concrete, 19.09 cubic meter and plus 24.94 cubic meter. For reinforcing steel bars, grade 40, 7,672.37 kilogram, and for grade 60, we have 622.44 kilogram. For post works and formworks, we have 349.83 square meter, and for CHB non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 150, 227.26 square meter. For carpentry and joinery works, 1 lump sum. Finishing hardware, 1 lump sum. Aluminum frame glass door, swing type, 17.01 square meter. For aluminum glass window sliding type, 11.38 square meter, and for fixed type, 24.67 square meter. Flash door, 6.30 square meter. For ceiling, we have here 226.72 square meter. For waterproofing, cement base, 4.48 square meter. Unglazed tiles, 8.06 square meter. Cement plaster finish, 601.25 square meter. For painting works, for masonry / concrete, 861.70 square meter. For steel, 113.52 square meter. For fabricated metal roofing accessories, for flashing, we have here 50.90 linear meter. For gutters, 14.10 linear meter. Pre-painted metal sheets, rib type long span roofing, 253.72 square meter. Structural steel, 1 lump sum. For structural steel for trusses, 391.07 kilogram. For purlins, 545.90 kilograms. For metal structure accessory, bolts and rods, 50 each. Steel plates, 40.98 kilogram. And we also have here fire extinguisher ABC with bracket, 3 sets. For plumbing, we have here sewer line work, septic bolt, plumbing fixtures, cold water lines, and for electrical, we have here the conduits, boxes and fittings, wire and wire devices, panel board with main and branch breakers, and lighting fixtures. For the summary of quantity of 25 MA00084, construction of multi-purpose building, Barangay Tagisa, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat, with the same structure as the Barangay Salansang. We have here the provision of field office for the engineers, permits of clearances, which includes the building permits and occupancy permit, project billboard, signboard, occupational safety and health, mobilization, structure excavation, embankment from roadway / structure excavation, embankment from barrow, gravel fill, structural concrete, reinforcing steel deformed bars, grade 1460, formworks and false works, CHB, carpentry, engineering works, finishing hardware, aluminum frame glass door, swing type, aluminum glass window, sliding and fixed type, door flush, ceiling, waterproofing, glaze and unglazed tiles, cement plaster finish, painting works for masonry / concrete and steel, fabricated metal roofing accessories for flashing and gutters, repainted metal sheet of ribspan long span roofing, structural steel for trusses and purlins, accessories, metal structure accessories such as bolts and rods and steel plates, fire extinguishers, and for plumbing works, we have catch basins, river lines, storm drainage and downspouts, cyclic bolt plumbing fixtures, and cold water lines. For electrical conduits, boxes and fittings, wires and wiring devices, panel boards with main and branch breakers and lighting fixtures. And for the 25 MH0096 with the same structures, this is the summary of quantities. For the summary of quantities, you can see the item number, description, quantity in its units here. For the next project, we have the 25 MH0086, construction completion of multipurpose building, gymnasium, Gistusani Memorial Elementary School, Barangay Tipuan, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat, with an ABC of 3,960,000 with a duration of 120 calendar days. This project is intended for the mini gymnasium of the Gistusani Memorial Elementary School. This is the perspective here, as you can see. And we have also here the location map. This project or the mini gymnasium includes the stage and the tree span of the main gymnasium here. We have also here the elevation for the left side and the right side, rear and front, and the cross section through X. Next, we have here the detail of the gym and cover, the longitudinal section and the detail of ramp, together with its sectional elevation. Next, we have here the roof plan and the reflected ceiling plan, together with the roofing connections like roofing fixture, roof panel slide lap detail, isometric views, and the ceiling joist detail. Next, we have here the foundation plan of the structure here, and the detail of our steel on fill and the wall footing detail. Please take note that we need to, for this structure, which includes the stage and the main gym, excluding the bleacher, but we need to provide a 1 meter dowels and preparation for the bleachers. We need to see the beam layout for the completion of the mini gymnasium, which is the bleachers here. Next, we have the roof framing plan. The typical detail of beam, the detail of our beams, the detail of our footing column detail here. Next, for our trusses, we have here the detail for our full truss and the detail of the full truss 2, the detail of our girts and the splice detail. We have also here the general construction notes for our construction methods guidelines. Next, for our electrical, we have here the lighting layout and the power layout plan for our gymnasium, and which incorporated with the fire extinguisher and its schedule detail here. Next, we have here the load schedules of our electrical, typical detail of our lights and outlets with its riser diagram. Next, we have here the summary of quantities, the provision, which includes the provision of field office for engineers, permits and clearances, which includes the building permit and occupancy permit, project billboards, occupational safety, mobilizations, and demobilization, structure excavation with the quantity of 90.0 per cubic, embankment from roadway / structure excavation 58.90 cubic, embankment from barrow, common soil 156.11 cubic, gravel field 25.25 cubic, for structural concrete 11.96 cubic and 42.73 cubic. For reinforcing steel deform bars, grade 40, 3,984.20 kilogram. Formworks and furls works, 234.00 square meter. CHB non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 100 mm thick, 178.38 square meter. Carpentry and joinery works, 1 lump sum. For ceilings, we have 78.61 square meters. Cement plaster finish, 325.41 square meter. Painting works for masonry / concrete, 404.02 square meter. And for steel, we have 485.52 square meter. For fabricated metal roofing accessories, we have here the reach / hip rules, 25.55 linear meter. For pre-painted metal sheets, corrugated type. For our roofing, 413.91 square meter, and for our end cover, rib type long span, 21.71 square meter. For structural steel, 1 lump sum. For structural trusses, 2,830.45 kilogram. And for purlins, we have 1,634.59 kilogram. For metal structure accessories, for bolts and rods, 100 each. Turnbuckle, 40 each. Cross bracing, 246.48 kilogram. For steel plates, 164.81 kilogram. We have also here for our fire extinguisher. And for electrical works, we have the conduits, boxes and fittings, wires and wiring devices, panel boards with main and branch breaker, and lastly, the lighting layout fixtures. Next, we have here the geohazard map of Lebak. And lastly, we have the standard project billboard for the project. Next, we have here the 25M80092. Construction completion of multi-purpose building gymnasium Barangay Kulong-Kulong, Palimbang, Sultan Kudarat with an ABC of 2,970,000 with a duration of 90 calendar days. This is the same structure as earlier, but the scope of work is the stage and 1 span of the gymnasium. This is the perspective the location map, and for the floor plan here, we can see the stage and the one span of the gymnasium. Next, we have here the elevation for left and right, front and rear, and the cross section. Next, we have the detail of gym and cover, the longitudinal section and detail of ramp, roof plan, reflected ceiling plan, together with detail for the ceiling joists and roofing connections. Next, we have the foundation plan and beam layout, the detail of stairs and wall footing. For in preparation for the bleachers, future completion of the bleachers, we need to provide 1 meter dowel. Here, see the beam layout plan for the future completion of the bleacher. Next, we have here the detail or the roof framing plan and the detail of footing to column, detail of beams, typical detail and the typical detail of beams. Next, we have here the detail of our trusses and our triangular strut, and the full truss detail 2, and the detail of word with the detail splice or the detail of splice for the purlins and angle bar. Next, we have the construction general notes for our construction method guidelines. And for electrical, we have here the lighting layout plan and the power layout plan, together with the schedule of the fire extinguisher and its detail. Next, we have here the load schedules, typical details of lights and outlets, riser diagram. And for the next page, we have here the summary of quantities. For this project, the summary of quantities includes provision of field office for the engineers, permits and clearances, project bill for design for occupational safety and health, mobilization and demobilization, structure excavation, common soil, embankment from roadway / structure excavation, embankment from barrow, common soil, gravel field, structural concrete, reinforcing steel deformed grade 40, formworks and falls works, CHB non-load bearing including reinforcing steel 100 mm thick, carpentry and joinery works, ceiling, cement plaster finish, painting works for masonry / concrete and for steel. And for fabricated metal roofing accessories, we have the ridge or / hip rolls. For pre-painted metal sheet, we have here the corrugated type for our roofing and rib type for our end cover. We have also here the structural steel for other steel structures, and for structural steel for trusses and burdens. For metal structure accessories, we have bolts and rods, turnbuckles, cross bracing, and steel plates. For extinguisher and for our electrical, the conduits, box and fittings, wiring devices, panel board with main and branch breakers, and lighting fixtures. And we have also here the geohazard map and the standard project build for the project. For the next project, we have here the 25M00102 construction completion of multi-purpose building gymnasium, Barangay Lagubang, Senator Ninoy Aquino, Sultan Kudarat, with an ABC of 2,227,500 with a duration of 90 calendar days. This project is the completion of the existing barangay gymnasium of Barangay Lagubang. This is the perspective view and the location map. For the summary of quantities, we have here provision of field office, 3 months, permits and clearances, project billboards / signboard, occupational safety, mobilization, demobilization. For earthworks, we have the structure excavation, embankment from roadway, structure excavation, embankment from barrow, common soil, gravel fill. For finishing other civil works, we have the structural concrete, reinforcing steel deformed grade 40, and formworks and falls works. For finishing and other civil works, we have the CHB non-load bearing, including reinforcing steel, 100 mm, carpentry and joinery works, finishing hardware, cement plaster finish, painting works for steel. For our roofing, we have fabricated metal roofing accessories, ridge and slash hip rolls, pre-painted metal sheet, corrugated type, structural steel for trusses and purlins, metal structure accessories, bolts and rods, turnbuckles, cross bracing, and steel plates. Next, we have here the geohazard map of the municipality of Senator Ninoy Aquino. For this project, as you can see in our floor plan, we have here the existing, which is 3-span gymnasium, and for the completion, we added 2-span of the gymnasium here. Next, we have the elevation view here, side and the sectional elevation, the rear and front elevation, and next we have the general construction notes for construction method guidelines. For foundation plan, we have here roof plan and the roof framing plan, the detail of our trusses, girth, triangular strut, the detail of our footing to columns, connection of our roofings, detailed splice of our C-purlins and angle bars, and the detail of our wall footing. And lastly, we have here the standard project billboard for the project. For the last project, we have here the 25MA00114, construction completion of multipurpose building gymnasium, Pansud Elementary School, Barangay Pansud, Lebak, Sultan Kudarat, with an EVC of 1,980,000 with a duration of 90 calendar days. This project is intended for the completion of the gymnasium, which prioritize the stage of the gym here. As you can see, we have here the perspective, the site development plan, and the location map. This is the floor plan of our project with a dimension of 8 by 15.5 stage here. Next, we have here the front and the rear elevations, the right side and left side elevation, the sectional elevation here, the ceiling layout plan, and the detail of the end cover and the typical ceiling joist detail. Next, we have here the general construction notes for the guidelines of our construction methods. Next, we have here the foundation plan for our stage here. Next, we have here the beam layout plan and the roof framing plan. Next, we have here the detail of our F1C1, wall footing, detail or schedules of the roof beams, definitory columns, stair on fill, and the roofing connections. We have also here the detail of our rafter, the detail of our girth, structure, triangular strut, the detail of splice for our purlins and angle bars, and the connection of the truss of our truss and the girth to the existing gymnasium. And here we have the municipality of Lebak's geohazard map. And for our summary of quantity, we include provision of field office for the engineers, 3 months, permits and clearances for the building permits and occupancy permit, project bill burden signboard, occupational safety and health, mobilization/demobilization, structure excavation, common soil, embankment from roadway / structure excavation, embankment from barrow, gravel field, structural concrete, reinforcing steel, grade 40, formworks and fallworks, CHB non-load bearer, including reinforcing steel, 100 mm thick, carpentry and joinery works, cement plaster finish, painting works for steel, fabricated metal roofing accessories for flashing, pre-painted metal sheet, reed type, long span for the roofing of our stage, structural steel for trusses and purlins, and metal structural accessories for bolts and rods, turnbuckles, cross bracing, steel and steel plates. Next, we have here the standard project billboard. And please take note that all discussed MPB projects, the MPB project, we need to provide marker, which is A3 size, and placard 2 by 3. The layout will be verified by our DPWH architect, which is architect Elvin Tacuban. And if there is question, pwede po kayong pumunta sa office or sa PDS for clarification. And that will be all. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer. So next agenda is the technical documents to be submitted by the bidders. So for the documents to be submitted by the bidders shall submit, we're following a two-envelope system, submission of technical proposal and financial proposal. So under technical proposal, the bidder shall submit the following. I will note this or connote this technical proposal as our technical component envelope. Under technical component envelope, the bidder shall submit its legal documents, which are the valid field jobs registration certificate, platinum membership, all pages. Make sure po na updated po itong certificate, and also yung kanyang annex na attached on the third page. Next, registration certificate from Securities and Exchange Commission, your DTI, for sole proprietorship or Cooperative Development Authority, CTA, for cooperative or its equivalent document. Next, mayor's or business permit issued by the city or municipality where the principal place of business of the prospective bidder is located, or the equivalent document for exclusive economic zones or areas. And next is the tax clearance per EO number 398 series of 2005 as finally reviewed and approved by the Bureau of Internal Revenue, BIR. So take note po dito sa ating documents, no, na mention sa legal documents. Make sure po na lahat ng ito are reflected po sa ating field job certificate and updated, no? Next, technical documents. Statement of the prospective bidders of all its ongoing government and private contracts, including contracts awarded but not yet started, if any, whether similar or not similar in nature and complexity to the contract to be bid. Next, statement of the bidder's singular just completed contract or SLCC similar to the contract to be bid, except under conditions provided under the rules. Take note po sa dalawang form na ito, yung SLCC tsaka yung statement of ongoing government and private contracts. May format po ito na sinusunod, no? Ipili niyo po yung data na kailangan dyan. Next, Philippine Contractors Accreditation Board or PCAB license or special PCAB license in case of joint ventures and registration for the type and cost of the contract to be bid. Take note lang, pag special PCAB license po, maglagay po ng joint venture agreement. And also, extract po kayo for the back secretariat copy during the drafting or the purchase of bid. Next, original copy of bid security, if in the form of surety bond, submit also a certification issued by the Insurance Commission, or pwede pong gumamit ng notarized bid security declaration. Take note po, original po ang ating attach dyan. Next, project requirements, which shall include the following: organizational chart for the contract to be bid, list of contractors' key personnel, example, yung manager, project engineer, project materials engineer, foreman, to be assigned to the contract to be bid with their complete qualification experience data. Pag sinabi yung complete qualification experience data, no, dito sa ating mga project engineers, meron po tayong requirement na dapat for accredited and may issued the department order po ng DPWH yung inyong pledge project engineer. And so as with your materials engineers, meron po din sila accredited materials engineer certification. Next, list of contractors' major equipment units which are owned, leased, and or under purchase agreements supported by proof of ownership or certification of availability of equipment from equipment lessor or vendor for the duration of the project as the case may be. Yan, take note din po, dapat po may mga attached na mga requirements, no, pertaining to the list of your major equipments. Next, as per DO number 11, series of 2017, inclusion of the minimum testing materials equipment in the technical component of the bid. Wag po yung DO may attach. Ang attach po natin is yung certification or any proof na meron po kayong minimum testing materials equipment. No? Next, original duly signed omnibus sworn statement, OSS, if applicable, original notarized secretary certificate in case of a corporation, partnership, or cooperative, or original special power of attorney of all members of the joint venture, giving full power and authority to its officer to sign the OSS and do acts to represent the bidder. Take note po itong OSS natin na attach, no? Make sure po natin items ito as prescribed with the GPPB. Next, under pa rin sa technical component envelope, yung financial documents, which are the prospective bidders' audited financial statements, showing among others the prospective bidders' total and current assets and liabilities. Stamp received. Take note po sa word na stamp received by the BIR or its duly accredited and authorized institution for the preceding calendar year, which should not be earlier than 2 years from the date of bid submission. So, stamp received by the BIR, no? Or its duly accredited authorized institution. Ano po ba yung accredited and authorized institution na sinasabi dyan? Yan po yung mga bangko. Next. The prospective bidder's computation of net financial contracting capacity or NFCC. May alignment po itong NFCC natin sa ating AFS. So make sure po na align. And also, updated po sa, yung AFS natin is updated sa ating field JEPs, no? Next, Class B documents. Dito pinasok yung financial document. Pinasok sa the financial document yung Class B document. If applicable, duly signed joint venture agreement in accordance with RA number 4566 and its IRR in case the joint venture is already in existence, or duly notarized statements from all the potential joint venture partners stating that they will enter into and abide with the provisions of the GVA in the instance that the bid is successful. So that comprises your technical proposal. Next folder is your financial proposal. This only consists, first, original duly signed and accomplished financial bid form. Next, other documentary requirements under RA number 9294. The original duly signed bid prices in the bill of quantities, duly accomplished detailed estimates form, including a summary sheet indicating the unit prices of construction materials, labor rates, and equipment rentals used in coming up with the bid. And lastly, yung cash flow by quarter. So take note po natin sa mga documents na sinasubmit, no? Ito pong technical and financial proposals natin. Ito roll check po ninyo, no? Versus checklist na require natin. Ito, yung diniscuss natin mamaya. Itong dinidiscuss natin ngayon. And mamaya, we'll give you an update, no? Ano pa yung mga dapat nyong tandaan. So, we'll proceed muna sa ating criteria and procedure for eligibility check and preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, and post-qualification and award. To be discussed to us for our fellow member of the Back Secretariat, Sir Alan Freno, sir.
Thank you, Sir Frank. So let's now proceed to the next agenda. The criteria for and procedure for eligibility check, preliminary investigation of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, post-qualification, and award. So dito po sa eligibility check, it is understood na yung mga prospective bidders natin o yung mga contractors ay very familiar na po dito sa sinatawag na civil works application or yung CWA. Yun pong ating electronic eligibility check ay doon po piniperform sa CWA. Bago po yung electronic eligibility processing, nagko-conduct po tayo ng contract profiling. Dito po sa contract profiling, dito po natin ini-input yung mga contract ID and the contract name, the ABC, major work category, duration, etc. Ito po yung mga basis ng CWA para po ma-determine whether si bidder for a particular contract ID is eligible or ineligible. So, bali po yung processing po ng eligibility ay per contract ID. So, yung eligibility check po natin ay kinakandak po natin almost simultaneously with the opening of bids. While the back members are opening the technical proposals of the bidders, tayo naman po ay nag-conduct ng eligibility processing. Only those bidders who have purchased the bidding documents and at the same time drop their bid envelope for a particular contract ID, ayun lamang po ang makasama sa electronic eligibility processing. So kahit po meron kayong resibo pero hindi naman kayo nakapag-drop, so hindi po kayo makakasama sa eligibility processing. Para po maging eligible bidder, the bidder should pass the electronic eligibility dun sa CWA, and the technical and financial envelopes must be complying also against the corresponding checklist. So the BAC is using the non-discretionary pass-fail criteria. Ito po yung presence or absence of documents based on the checklist. So meron pong checklist yung technical, meron din pong checklist yung financial. So dapat po, yun po inyong financial and technical ay dapat po makapasa doon sa non-discretionary pass-fail. And at the same time, sa CWA ay pumasa din po kayo, so you can be considered eligible bidder. So after opening and reading of all the technical and financial proposals of the bidders for all contract IDs to be bid, preliminary investigation of all bids will follow. So outright, during the opening of bids, madidetermine agad kung sino yung lowest bidder. So pagka kayo po ang lowest bidder ay hindi po yun guarantee na mapapa sa inyo agad yung project. Kasi si technical working group ay magkakandak ng after ng preliminary investigation. Ang next process na ikakandak ni TWG ay yung detailed bid evaluation. Dito po sa detailed bid evaluation, dito po madidetermine yung lowest calculated bidder. After nun, pagka na-determine na po yung lowest calculated bidder, si TWG po ay magkakandak ng post-qualification doon sa lowest calculated bidder. Pagka po yung lowest calculated bidder ay nag-fail doon sa post-qualification, immediately si TWG ay magkakandak ng post-qualification sa second lowest calculated bidder, and so on and so forth, until such time na ma-determine na po yung lowest calculated responsive bid. So, pagka meron na po tayong lowest calculated responsive bid, back resolution will be issued recommending award to the lowest calculated responsive bid and to be approved by the head of the procuring entity. So yun lamang po yung yung brief na discussion ng ating agenda. So kung meron po kayong mga concerned, iparating nyo lang po dito sa back ng SK2 Second DEO, and we will try our best na ma-address po yung mga concerned and mga queries ninyo. And reminder lang po doon sa mga ating mga bidders, sana po makapag-maintain po kayo ng updated na eligibility documents sa CWA and at the same time sa PhilJEPS para po maiwasan po natin yung ma-delay yung ating procurement process. So, yun lamang po, and thank you, Sir Frank.
Thank you, Sir Alan. Next, we'll proceed to the questions, comments from bidders and replies of BAC and other representatives of procuring entity. Tingnan natin yung live natin. Okay, so far wala pa pong mga queries. Proceed sa ating sa ating other matters. So for our other matters, meron lang kaming mga reminders dito sa ating dinidiscuss today. So yung ating bidding documents po is available since the date it was posted, January 21 up to February 11, 2025. At ating yung pre-bid ngayon, January 28, 2025. Our deadline of dropping of bids is on February 11, 2025 at 10 a.m. And ang opening of bids natin will be done after the deadline of dropping of bids at 10 a.m. on February 11, 2025. We'll remind yung mga bidders na gustong sumali Yung atin pong bidding documents is available for download at PhilJEP's website and DPWH websites. Tingnan nyo lang po yung mga codes ng contract IDs. Yun po ang ating gagamitin pang search doon sa ating opportunity sa PhilJEPs and posting sa DPWH website. Now, pwede nyo po yung i-download and i-print, and yung applicable fee for the bidding documents shall be paid according sa kanilang mga price, sa kanilang bid documents cost. Nandito po sa ating, meron din po tayong nakalagay dyan sa ating posting. Pwede nyo pong bayaran dito sa aming office anytime from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays, and the deadline would be on February 11, 2025. And yung mga authorized po natin ng mga persons to be catered by the office are those authorized liaison and the owner lamang po. And yung mga other part of the firm or ni employee ni bidder. And also submit with meron pa kayong valid identifications. Yung sa mga joint venture partners na gustong sumali, pwede po kayong prepare ng other copy of your joint venture agreement that is for the use of the back secretariat para sa ating eligibility process through the CWA, which was discussed by Sir Alan kanina. And wag po tayong magre-revise ng mga forms base doon sa ating checklist, no? Discuss yung mga SLCC at saka statements. Follow po yung mga particular yung sa ating bid form. Follow po tayo sa standard form na na-require or na-issue. Next, regarding sa ating prepared bids, pag gusto niyo pong i-hardbound, we suggest po na naka-softbound kasi amin din naman yun ilalagay sa aming ISO folder. So make sure lang po na all pages are signed, may proper pagination number, and yung mga dapat na pirmahan is pinipirmahan niyo po to affix po na na-check po ninyo, or to affix niyo po ang inyong mga signature to signify po na na-check po ninyo ang inyong mga bids na tama. Make sure din po sa proper sealing and marking ng ating mga bids before dropping your bids, no? Thank you po. Okay, for our summary of proceedings, we have Ms. Yvonne Sumagaysay for the discussion.
Summary of proceedings. The basic contract data, including contract description, ABC, and duration, was discussed by Engineer Sarah Jane Makasindig from Planning and Design Section. The review of requirements of bidding documents and review of documents to be submitted by the bidder, both technical and financial components of the bid, was discussed by Mr. Franco Rivalorezo, our back secretariat. The criteria for eligibility screening, preliminary examination of bids, detailed evaluation of bids, and post-qualification and award was discussed by Mr. Alan Freno, who is also one of our back secretariat. And as per check in the streaming, there is no question from the bidders. And the other matters was discussed by Mr. Franco Rival Lorizo. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Yvonne. So for the conclusion of this pre-bid conference, we'll have Sir Alan, sir.
Since we have no topics to be discussed and we have done with our agenda, so in behalf of our back chairman, we declare this pre-bid conference adjourned at what time? 11:34.